In this video, I'm going to talk about an experience when I climbed Ben Nevis, the highest mountain in Great Britain, at 4,500 feet. And it was a really magical experience where I was in a state of ecstasy. And what I want to teach you or give an example of is how you can access that feeling too, because it is actually something quite amazing. So if you want to learn more about this and listen to this amazing experience that I had, carry on and watch this video. Hi there, my name is Loraine and I help people live with passion, purpose and positivity. And in this video I'm going to talk about an experience I had back in 2012 where I climbed Ben Nevis. It's the highest mountain in Great Britain. At that time I just found my passion for adventure, hiking and the great outdoors. I'd loved it as a child, and then I listened to speakers say to access your passion, and I discovered that I'd absolutely loved walking and anything to do with being out in nature and hiking and everything. So that year I'd already cycled the C2C coast to coast across the narrowest part of Great Britain, 300 miles. With a company called Explore, and it was absolutely amazing. So a few months later I decided I'd go with the same company but climb Ben Nevis. I'd already climbed Snowdon before, Mount Snowdon in Wales, when I was in my teens. So yeah, I knew I loved mountain climbing, so I really relished the thought of climbing Ben Nevis. So I'd met this girl Louise on the C2C tour in a few months earlier, and we got on really well and we connected and everything, and she was going to drive up there. She had a Mini and we drove all the way up to Scotland from where I live in Hertfordshire up to Scotland to Ben Nevis, and it worked. But prior to that I took up on some techniques from Abraham Hicks. Don't know whether you've heard of them. Abraham Hicks channel source energy, and they give you all these techniques about what they say about getting into the vortex. But I'll tell you what I did prior to going to Ben Nevis. I did visualise climbing that mountain before I went. I spent quite a long time visualising it, getting excited about it, and then I did something called a focus wheel. And I'll just tell you briefly about the focus wheel. It is an Abraham Hicks process. I'll tell you briefly about it, but I'm not going to go into great detail because that is something that I did in order to get into this really high vibrational state while going up Ben Nevis. It's where you put what you want in the middle of a wheel, and then you put positive things about it on the outside, like the spokes on a wheel. But it's a special technique, and I am going to do a video on that, specifically on that. But it's quite a good technique because you have to tune into your vibration, what feels good, and you write it. Anyway, I did loads of these focus wheels. I'll tell you briefly about that now. And I did positive momentum adding. I said, I'm going to have a great time. I'm going to love the scenery. I'm going to love the people. And I used to go on these really excited rampages of climbing Ben Nevis. So this was like the vibration I was going into before I even started to climb Ben Nevis. So the day came to climb this mountain. I was in a group. I think there's about 10 of us, various different people from different walks of life. There's even a lady from Canada there, and there was a couple of girls there who were friends. One was very adventurous, the other one wasn't. The adventurous one has been all over the world, hiking and everything. And the other one was just a friend who wasn't like that. Anyway, one night they got drunk and they booked this trip to climb Ben Nevis. And the girl that was not very adventurous, she really struggled up this mountain. And Andy, our guide, he had to stay with her the whole time. So the pace was very, very slow climbing up Ben Nevis. But the morning came to climb this great mountain, and we all had a photo at the bottom of the mountain to to commemorate the start of it and everything. And we started climbing up the mountain. But already the momentum for me of getting in a high vibration was already it already got going. I was in like, sort of like, oh my God, I'm really enjoying this hike up this mountain and the scenery. Although when you climb up a mountain, the scenery is the same. It gets, you get higher and higher, so it gets more and more spectacular. So it was a crisp day, really clear. It wasn't too. It was in June. It wasn't too cold, and I'll tell you something now. I was in a state of ecstasy. I was like in this bubble of bliss. I'm having trouble even explaining it really, because I was so excited, because I prepared and because I was mentally ready for this amazing, what Abraham would call in the vortex experience. I just sort of like, nobody else really existed. I was just in this like high vibrational state and loving every minute of this amazing scenery. We're going higher and higher, and the blue sky, and there's lakes in the distance and a river and it was just amazing. I was going up this mountain, and poor Andy was having to help this girl, and we're all encouraging her along. And then there was others who were getting a bit impatient, and they were going a bit further on, and Andy kept saying, wait for us, we've got to stay in the group and everything. So we got higher and higher, and as I'm climbing the mountain, I was saying to myself, when I get to the top, I want to do something spectacular. Don't know what it is. And I did say to Andy, our guide, I says, what amazing different things do people do on the top of Ben Nevis? He says, oh, you'd be amazed. He says some people take car parts up there and then build a car on the top of Ben Nevis. Some people streak on the top of Ben Nevis. He went on a rampage of all these really spectacular, bizarre things that people do. But I just said, I was in a state of appreciation. I says, universe, I'll allow you to bring to me this amazing experience on the top of Ben Nevis. And I just carried on appreciating. As we got higher and higher, and it's very steep. Obviously, it was like 4,500 feet, 1,345 meters. It was very steep, lots of steps, and I was using my trekking poles. As we were getting higher, the terrain was getting more different. It was becoming like moon-like, sort of like there was like slate and rocks, and it looked exactly like the moon. And as we were getting even higher and higher, it was snow. Anyway, we got to the top, and it's quite a huge area on the top of Ben Nevis. And we got to the top, and I was in this state of ecstasy, and there was this area where these guys were like free climbing on this rock nearby. And Andy was saying, guys do that. They just climb on this rock. He says, but there's many people that have died on Ben Nevis, even experienced mountaineers, because sometimes it's just fog. And people and there's sheer drops on Ben Nevis, and they just go over the edge. I thought, oh God, you've got to stay safe. Always stay safe. Anyway, so Andy, he did let us roam around and just do our own thing for a little while. And I thought, what can I do on the top of Ben Nevis? I want this to be a momentous occasion. So as I was friendly with Louise, I walked around. As I say, it's snowing. I got these pebbles, and I wrote our names in with pebbles in the snow. Lou, L-O-U, and Loz, that's my nickname, in the snow. So I thought, bit tame. I want something better than that. So I walked around a bit further. There was people high on these rocks going, "Yay, they've done it," and everything. And in the distance, I was walking up to this. It was like this cairn, this stone, and this young girl was standing on this stone like this, and her friends were down below, watching her. And I walked along, and I stood beside the people that were watching her, and I just sort of like said to myself, not even to anybody, "Oh my God, I want to do that." Anyway, these people next to me, it says, "Okay, we'll help you." I said, "Oh, thank you very much." So the girl came down and she took the photograph. And these very kind people, this man and this woman, helped me up on this stone, this cairn, which was the highest point on Ben Nevis. So at that moment in time, I was the highest person in Great Britain. And I stood there like this on this stone, and I tell you, I was very, very scared because it seemed really, really high. But they were standing either side of me, these kind people helping me. In the background was grey cloud, because then the cloud was starting to come in. And I felt magnificent on top. I thought, oh my God, this is it. This is it. This is the great thing I want to do on top of Ben Nevis. And as you can see, that is me on the thumbnail of this video, doing this amazing thing on Ben Nevis. Anyway, in the meantime, some of the other people in the group said, Andy, the guide, when he saw me, had his head in his hands, you know, he's worried about my safety. But no, I never felt that I was in any danger. I was a bit sort of wobbly and scared, but I got down and I thanked these people. Oh, I said, thank you so much. That was just absolutely amazing. I felt satisfied that my great thing on Ben Nevis I'd achieved it. Anyway, so time came and we were all taking photos, and Andy says, right, we've got to get back down now. And the young lady did get to the top. Andy was with her. She got to the top and she says, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to do it when I'm fit. I says, good for you. Anyway, we made our way down, and the clouds started coming in. It was almost like the universe knew that we'd done our thing on Ben Nevis, and the clouds were coming in. It started raining a little bit. We started getting on our waterproofs. Down, down, down we went. And it was quite tricky coming down, actually, but I was still in this state of ecstasy. And as we were going down, we were privileged to see this amazing helicopter rescue. This man was exhausted, and he had to have a helicopter rescue, and we watched that as well. So, and I've got a video where I've got all pictures of Ben Nevis with music and everything, so you could watch that as well. So yeah, so we have a privilege to witness that amazing rescue. So the whole day was absolutely amazing. But what I'll say is, when we were going further down, we were heading towards the place where we were going to go and have a drink. Everyone was saying about midges. In fact, people were saying about midges the whole time we were climbing Ben Nevis. I did not feel any midges on me whatsoever. And you know why that is, don't you? So I was in this high vibration. I was so focused on my feelings and how I was feeling in this state of bliss and ecstasy, and being in this magical place where no one else existed except for my own inner world. And oh, I absolutely love that feeling, and I do access it quite a lot when I'm following my bliss. This is why I have this message about following your bliss, following your passion, you know, following your positivity and joy, because that is what life's about, is that feeling of joy and appreciation. And oh, I can't, you know, I just cannot describe how great that feeling was. Anyway, so that was my experience on Ben Nevis, and I have recreated it, and I do know how to do that deliberately. See, often we get ourselves into situations, we feel joy and love, and it just happens in the moment. But when you can deliberately tune yourself into that feeling before you've done it, that is deliberate creation, and that brings great things to you. And it's also almost not about the experience, it's about the feeling. And every time I think of Ben Nevis now, I was going to this state of like ecstasy. And it's unique to me. I can't even explain properly on this video what it was like, but it was just absolutely amazing. And I wanted to share that with you, and I wanted to show you that you too can access this feeling of bliss and joy and happiness and love and fulfillment just by following your bliss, by doing it deliberately, by doing them things that I told you about, by visualising, doing you know, focus wheels, and you know, anything, you know, positive momentum adding is another one. You can do it. You can do it before you go. So you know, before you go to that party, you know, before you go to that meeting, you know, before you go on that date, that you're going to have an amazing time because you've pre-arranged it, you've pre-paved it, you're in that state. And, you know, nothing can go wrong when you're in that state. So yeah, so this is the end of the video. If you liked what I was talking about, please press the like button. subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification, because I do daily videos. And have a great day. Much love to you, my friends, and namaste.